The alien planet of Zytheria was unlike anything Captain Ryan had ever seen. Towering crystalline towers reflected the pale green light of its sun, and shimmering rivers of liquid metal flowed through the cities. The alien inhabitants were tall and elegant, their skin shifting colors with emotion, their eyes sharp and observant. The planet was beautiful, but Ryan knew danger lingered beneath the surface. Civil unrest and rogue factions threatened the fragile peace, and he had been sent as part of a human diplomatic mission to prevent war. Ryan's orders were clear. Make contact with Princess Lyra, the ruler's only daughter, and find a way to establish an alliance. But Ryan did not follow instructions in a quiet, cautious way. He had learned that sometimes bold actions produced results that careful planning could not. He approached the palace gates under the cover of the soft morning light. Guards clad in iridescent armor watched him closely, their weapons hovering at their sides. Ryan raised his hands in peace. "I come with respect and no harm," he said in the alien language he had been taught. His accent was rough, but the words were correct. The guards hesitated, glancing at one another. Finally, one motioned him inside. The palace interior was more magnificent than Ryan had imagined. Walls of living crystal pulsed gently with a rhythm that seemed alive. Strange symbols hovered in the air, glowing faintly as he passed. He followed the hallway toward the princess's chambers. His heart beat faster, not from fear but from anticipation. He had been warned that the princess was intelligent and cautious, and that she had never tolerated unannounced visitors. When Ryan reached the door, he paused. A strict protocol required that all visitors announce themselves and wait for approval. But outside he had heard reports of rogue factions moving closer to the city. Every second could matter. He made a decision. He pushed the door open. Princess Lyra looked up from the table where she was studying tactical maps. Her eyes, a deep shade of violet, widened in shock. "How did you—" she began, her voice a mixture of surprise and disbelief. She had never seen anyone enter her chambers without her knowledge. Her guard stiffened, but she raised a hand to stop them. Ryan gave a small, polite bow. "Princess Lyra, I apologize for the sudden entrance, but the situation outside your palace is urgent. I had to speak with you immediately." Lyra's gaze studied him carefully. She had been trained to detect deception, and she sensed no threat in him. Still, her surprise remained obvious, and a hint of curiosity flickered in her eyes. "You are bold human," she said softly. "Few dare disregard protocol and enter my chambers unannounced." Ryan smiled faintly. "I have learned that sometimes rules must be broken to save lives." Lyra narrowed her eyes, testing him. "And what makes you think I will trust a human who ignores the laws of my palace?" "Because I come with no other goal than to help," Ryan replied. "And because I believe that humans and Zytherians can work together." Her curiosity was piqued. She gestured to a holographic display on her table. "Rogue factions are moving faster than anticipated. I cannot leave my post to deal with outsiders' requests. If you wish to prove your intentions, you must first succeed in a series of tests." Ryan raised an eyebrow. "Tests?" "Yes," Lyra said, her voice firm. "I will test your intelligence, your skills, and your ability to adapt. Many have failed before you." Lyra moved to the center of the room, and the floor shifted beneath them. A simulation began. A holographic battlefield filled with moving obstacles, unpredictable hazards, and illusions designed to confuse and intimidate. "This is a training protocol. If you succeed, I will consider listening to your plan. Fail, and you will be escorted out." Ryan's lips curved in a small grin. "Then I have no time to waste." The first challenge was agility. Holographic beams shot across the room, forcing Ryan to duck, roll, and jump with precision. His military training kicked in, and he navigated the beams with steady focus. Lyra watched silently, noting every movement. She had expected hesitation, but Ryan moved with confidence and awareness. Next came the puzzle. The holographic floor rearranged itself into a complex pattern, and Ryan had to find a safe path across. Time was limited, and each wrong step triggered alarms and illusions of danger. He paused briefly, analyzing the pattern, then stepped carefully, using logic and instinct to find the correct route. Again, Lyra's eyes widened slightly. She had not anticipated such calm focus from a human. The final test was a combat simulation. Holographic enemies appeared, and Ryan had to disarm and disable them without causing harm. The simulation included unexpected twists, walls that shifted, enemies that vanished and reappeared, and sudden environmental changes. Ryan adapted quickly. using alien technology he had learned to manipulate during training. He moved with precision, never panicking, always adjusting. When the simulation ended, Lyra exhaled, a rare sign of acknowledgement. "You succeeded," she said quietly. "Few Zetherians could manage this. You are resourceful." Ryan nodded. "I do not claim to be perfect, Princess, only willing to act when others hesitate." Lyra studied him for a long moment, then turned to her tactical display. "Very well. I will hear your plan, but know this. You are entering a world of complex politics and danger. One wrong step could ignite war." Ryan stepped closer to the display, pointing to a sector where rogue drones had been spotted. "Princess, I suggest we act immediately. These factions are attacking colonies that cannot defend themselves. If we coordinate with your forces and allow me to assist in unconventional ways, we can stop the attacks before more lives are lost." Lyra hesitated. Her instincts screamed caution, yet something in Ryan's demeanor made her pause. He did not radiate arrogance or fear. He radiated certainty, clarity, and bravery. Finally, she nodded. "We will prepare a strike force. You will accompany me and assist in the operation. Your tactics may be unconventional, but I will allow it." As they made preparations, Ryan and Lyra discussed strategy. He proposed methods that blended human improvisation with Zetherian technology. She suggested ways to use their advanced systems more efficiently. At first, their ideas clashed, but soon they found a rhythm. They were learning from each other, and a mutual respect began to form. Outside the palace, alarms sounded as rogue drones approached a nearby settlement. Ryan glanced at Lyra. "Time is short. We must move." She nodded, her earlier surprise now replaced with determination. She had underestimated this human at first, but she could not deny his courage and insight. Together they left the palace, stepping into the crisp alien morning, ready to face a threat that neither could handle alone. As they reached the transport craft, Lyra's guards whispered among themselves, noting the unusual partnership forming between a human and their princess. Many doubted it could work, but Ryan's calm confidence reassured them. During the flight, Ryan and Lyra spoke less formally. He asked questions about her culture, her people, and her experiences. She responded honestly, realizing he genuinely wanted to understand rather than judge. This openness created a bridge between them, one that might prove stronger than any political treaty. Landing near the settlement, they were met with scenes of chaos, buildings damaged, civilians fleeing, and rogue drones patrolling the area. Ryan immediately assessed the situation, pointing out potential weak points and escape routes for the civilians. Lyra issued commands, directing her forces with precision. Together, they began coordinating a counterattack. As the first part of their mission unfolded, Lyra could not help but glance at Ryan. His ability to remain calm under pressure, to make quick decisions, and to inspire those around him was unlike anything she had seen in her own people. Her earlier surprise at his unannounced entrance had evolved into cautious admiration. The first part of their adventure concluded with the human and princess standing atop a small hill, overlooking the settlement. The rogue forces were being pushed back, but the battle was far from over. Lyra turned to Ryan, a faint smile on her lips. "You were reckless entering my chambers," she said softly, "but I must admit, you are more capable than I imagined." Ryan returned her smile. Sometimes the best way to earn trust is to show it through action, not words. For the first time, Lyra realized that humans might possess strengths her society overlooked. As they prepared for the next phase of their mission, she felt a mix of anticipation and respect. Together they would face the coming challenges, combining human ingenuity and Zetherian skill to protect lives and prevent disaster. The chapter closed with Ryan and Lyra standing side by side, ready to face the unknown. The princess's initial surprise had given way to curiosity and trust, and the seeds of a unique alliance were beginning to grow. The rogue forces of Zetheria were relentless. Captain Ryan and Princess Lyra stood atop the hill, surveying the settlement below. Buildings were damaged, fires burned in some areas, and frightened civilians ran for safety. Drones hovered in the air, scanning for targets. The chaos was a test of both human ingenuity and alien precision, and the partnership between Ryan and Lyra would be pushed to its limits. Ryan turned to Lyra. "We need a plan that keeps civilians safe while neutralizing their drones. We can't waste time." Lyra nodded, already analyzing the battlefield. "My soldiers are trained for combat. But these drones are faster and more unpredictable than anything we've faced before. We will need to combine our forces strategically. They split their team into squads, placing Zitherian soldiers in key defensive positions, while Ryan led a small human-led unit to intercept the drones. Lyra watched him closely, impressed at how naturally he adapted to her people's advanced technology. He studied the drone's movement patterns, identifying weaknesses and suggesting maneuvers that the Zitherians had never considered. "Move quickly," Ryan instructed. "Use the terrain to your advantage. Stay low when they scan and keep communication constant." The humans and Zitherians worked together seamlessly. Ryan directed civilians to safe zones while leading strikes on the drones. Each successful move caused Lyra to feel admiration for the human at her side. She had never imagined someone so different from her people could be so clever, so brave, and so calm under pressure. At one point, a massive drone hovered above a cluster of fleeing civilians. Its weapons locked onto the group, ready to fire. Ryan didn't hesitate. He grabbed a piece of fallen alien technology and modified it into a makeshift jammer. The device pulsed with energy, disrupting the drone's control system. The drone spiraled out of control and crashed harmlessly into a building. Lyra's eyes widened. "You think quickly," she said quietly. "Your solutions are unorthodox but effective." Ryan smiled briefly. "Sometimes rules are meant to guide us but not limit us. Survival comes first." As the battle raged, Lyra noticed something unexpected. The morale of her soldiers rose whenever Ryan acted decisively. They had seen humans before, but none had been so fearless and so capable. His courage inspired them. Even Lyra felt a strange sense of relief having him nearby. Hours passed, and the tide of battle slowly turned. Ryan and Lyra coordinated a final strike against the rogue faction's leader, a cunning strategist who had evaded capture for months. They discovered his location in the ruins of an old observatory on a nearby plateau. The place was heavily guarded, but Ryan and Lyra were undeterred. "You must follow my lead exactly," Ryan said. "We can't afford mistakes," Lyra nodded. She trusted him more than she had ever trusted anyone outside her immediate family. They moved quickly and silently, taking cover behind debris and blending with the shadows. Ryan used a combination of human tactics and Zitherian tech to disable surveillance systems, allowing them to approach the leader's position undetected. When they reached the observatory, the rogue leader emerged armed with advanced weapons and accompanied by elite guards. A fierce battle ensued. Ryan and Lyra fought back to back, their teamwork now instinctive. He anticipated movements that Lyra could not see, and she used her advanced combat skills to protect both of them. At a critical moment, the rogue leader aimed a weapon at Lyra. Ryan reacted instantly, pushing her out of the way and taking control of the situation. He used a combination of agility, strategy, and improvised gadgets to neutralize the threat. Lyra's heart raced as she saw his bravery in action. She realized she had underestimated humans, not in strength but in courage, intelligence, and the ability to think outside the rules. After the rogue leader was captured, the remaining drones and forces were quickly neutralized. Civilians cheered and Lyra's soldiers celebrated their victory. The settlement was saved and the immediate threat had passed. Lyra turned to Ryan, her expression a mixture of surprise and admiration. "I did not expect you to handle that so effectively." "You are remarkable," Ryan shrugged lightly. "I only did what had to be done. Anyone in my place would have tried the same." She shook her head. "No one else would have. You think differently. You act differently. You inspire differently." The human's simple honesty and modesty struck her. Lyra had spent her life surrounded by protocol and power, yet here was someone entirely different. A person who relied on ingenuity and courage rather than tradition. Over the next few days, Ryan helped Lyra stabilize the region. They coordinated resources, rebuilt damaged areas, and ensured that rogue factions could not regain control. During this time, the bond between them grew. Lyra began to see humans not as outsiders but as allies, creative, brave, and capable partners in leadership. One evening, as they stood on a balcony overlooking the repaired settlement, Lyra spoke softly. "When you entered my chambers without warning, I was shocked. I thought you were reckless, but now I see that your boldness saved many lives." Ryan looked at her, a faint smile on his face. "Sometimes the unexpected is exactly what a situation needs." Lyra nodded. "Your presence changed things. Not just the battle, but how I see our people and how I see humans." You reminded me that courage and intelligence come in many forms. Ryan felt a quiet pride, not in himself, but in the recognition that his actions had made a difference. I came to help and to understand your world. I never expected to teach or inspire anyone. Yet here we are. Lyra's eyes sparkled in the alien moonlight. Perhaps that is why humans can achieve so much. You are not bound by the same rules we are. You act from instinct, intuition, and morality rather than protocol alone. That is powerful. Ryan chuckled softly. I suppose every species has its strengths. Yours are impressive and your world is incredible. But humans can surprise too. In the following weeks, the alliance between humans and Zetherians grew stronger. Ryan worked closely with Lyra, training her soldiers in human tactics while learning from their advanced technology. Together, they created a new defense network that combined speed, strategy, and intelligence from both species. As the planet slowly returned to peace, Lyra realized something important. Humans were not inferior. They were different, yes, but their courage, adaptability, and quick thinking gave them unique strengths that complemented her own people. She had underestimated them before, just as she had underestimated Ryan. Now she could see the truth. The final day of their mission arrived, and the remaining rogue forces were contained. Civilians celebrated, soldiers saluted, and the city thrummed with renewed energy. Lyra approached Ryan, her earlier surprise now fully replaced with respect and admiration. You entered my chambers without warning, she said, her voice calm but sincere. At first I thought it was reckless. Now I see it was courageous. You reminded me that rules are not the only path to success. Ryan nodded. I only acted because it was necessary. Your world is remarkable, Princess, and I wanted to help protect it. I didn't think of it as reckless, I thought of it as the right choice. Lyra smiled, a genuine, rare expression of warmth. You have proven that humans are more capable than I imagined. Your courage, your intellect, your willingness to act, all of it is impressive. You have my trust, and more importantly, you have my respect. Ryan felt a sense of accomplishment, not from victory, but from understanding. He had entered her world unannounced, faced dangers, and now stood as a trusted ally. He realized that sometimes the boldest action, stepping forward without hesitation, was the one that made the greatest difference. As the sun set over Zetheria, painting the sky in shades of violet and gold, Lyra and Ryan stood together looking out over the city. The future was uncertain, as it always was, but for the first time they faced it as partners. Humans and Zetherians working together had turned what could have been disaster into triumph. And somewhere deep inside, Lyra acknowledged that the surprise she had felt when Ryan first entered her chambers had been more than shock. It had been the beginning of a connection that could change both their worlds forever. The battle was over, but a new chapter was beginning, one where courage, intelligence, and mutual respect could bridge species, cultures, and worlds. Ryan and Lyra knew that challenges would come again, but they also knew that together they could face anything. The night fell over Zetheria, peaceful for the first time in many cycles. The human and the alien princess stood side by side, ready for the future, unafraid, determined, and united.